Hello, welcome to this edition of Planet Hope here on France24, the programme dedicated to the UN Millennium Development Goals. Now, across Europe, there are more than 10 million ethnic Roma. An estimated 2.5 million still live in Romania, and they often face discrimination and exclusion. Roma integration into society is one of the EU's biggest ongoing projects. Achieving universal primary education is UN Millennium Goal number 2. And while it's well understood that education will play a key part in integrating Roma children into wider society from an earlier age, that idea might not be as simple as it sounds. Mirel Brand now reports.
Tomorrow is the first day of the new school year. Nina and her sister Aline are hoping to make the most of the last day of the holidays. We're in Barbulesti, a village in the southeast of Romania, and the children play in the main street. A saucepan serves as a makeshift drum. The rest is down to their imagination. The girls have certainly got rhythm. Their grandmother Maria loves to see them playing happily, but she knows the start of a new school year can be a worrying time as well.
I see them and I know that they need more. They're growing children and they have to eat at least 3 times a day. I just don't have the means to feed them properly.
Nina and Alina's parents left Romania for France 2 years ago. They'd hoped to earn enough money to make their daughters' lives better. But recently their dream turned into a nightmare. A few months ago, the girl's father was killed in a car crash. Their mother decided to stay in France, hoping to still be able to send a little money home. In the meantime, the girl's grandmother is focusing on getting them through school.
They really like school, and they really look forward to it. They get up early and get ready to go to their classes. The problem is that they get back here for lunch, and then they'll want to use the hot water to wash. With winter coming on too, how am I going to manage?
For now, these problems seem a long way off for Nina and Alina. Their biggest worry is what to wear to lessons. The girls are meeting their new classmates for the first time tomorrow.
We don't have shoes, and we don't have the right clothes either. When we go to school, the other kids will laugh at us. It's always the same.
Poverty is the norm for most of the 7,000 people who live here. Barbulesti is known in Romania as a village which is only inhabited by Roma. The vast majority of residents are unemployed, and this pushes many to emigrate or make trips to France, where they can make a better living even from begging. Here in Romania, the Roma minority faces widespread discrimination. The government says there are around 500,000 of them, but charities say that number is closer to 2.5 million. Left behind without work or prospects, many members of this excluded community find comfort in their faith. Every Sunday, they make their way to the house of prayer. In this improvised church, they practice Pentecostalism, a Protestant movement imported from the United States, which is passionate prayer at its heart. The children still have a choice. They can either go down the route their parents took, or they can follow a new path. For those who are already adults, it may be too late to choose a new life. The most recent figures show only 9% of Roma graduate from high school, while just 1 in 1,000 completes a university education. With Romania home to the largest Roma population in the EU, it's the younger generation who'll have to challenge the prejudice they come up against, and a good education is their best hope.
Tomorrow we go back to school, but we're already doing our homework to be ready for it. We've forgotten things, but they'll come back to us at school.
To help her remember, Nina writes a letter to her mother, which she'll send tomorrow.
Dear Mother, tomorrow the new term starts.
Alina and I are going to school together. I'm going to work hard so I can become a teacher and teach other children.
In a house nearby, another student is also looking forward to the new term, but this one's a little older. Ion Kutsitaru is a former mayor of the village. At over 60 years old, he's decided to go back to high school. Tomorrow he starts his final year, with the prospect of exams at the end. He's absolutely determined to pass, and says he wants to be an example to the younger generation.
I've always enjoyed studying, but I also want to set an example to our community. I can see the younger generation isn't interested in school and studying, but hopefully by my perseverance and my example, I can help the young people aim higher, and I hope to be remembered as an example, even after I'm gone.
But the integration of the Roma doesn't have to be a distant dream. Habits and customs have to change. That's what Leslie Hawke believes. She's the mother of Hollywood actor Ethan Hawke. 10 years ago, she set up a charity in Bucuresti to help Roma children get into school.
I grew up in Texas during the Civil Rights Movement, and all the things that white Southerners said about blacks, they were lazy, that they were dirty, that they didn't value education, all the same things. White people said about blacks in the Deep South. It's really more a poverty issue than a race issue.
In 2007, Romania became part of the EU. Brussels agreed to fund nearly €4 billion worth of social projects. A lot of this money was earmarked to better integrate the Roma minority. But in 5 years, the government has spent just 1% of this money.
It costs more to keep a man in prison for 1 month than it costs to keep a child in kindergarten for a year.
Back in the village of Barbulesti, Brussels seems a long way away. Here, it's the big day for Nina and Alina. They've done their hair and got ready, and the moments they've been waiting for is fast approaching. Understandably, they're a little nervous.
At school, I'll have to get used to writing again, because look, I can't do the letters properly anymore.
The girls are heading to Barbulesti Primary School. With 1,200 pupils, it's one of the biggest schools in the country. There to meet them on the first day of term is the regional head of education.
I remind you, we will not put up with truancy. That's finished in this school. And we have to remember that it's for you and your parents that you're here. It's the only way for you to become part of society.
Truancy is one of the main problems for the teachers here. Many Roma travel for much of the year to earn a living. They buy and sell all types of goods to make a profit. The whole family goes on these trips, and that makes it difficult for children to stay in school. Nina and Alina face the challenge of living away from their mother, and their father's recent death has affected their results.
In the wake of their family bereavement, they missed a number of lessons and fell behind. But they eventually came back to school, and we've been able to catch up a bit.
Ion Kutsitaru is also preparing for his first day back, but is trying not to dwell on his own concerns.
It's the youngest ones I worry for the most. But at the same time, the whole thing makes me very happy.
This is Armasesti, where Ion comes to high school. He and his classmates have 2 weeks on the Environmental Sciences course. While this class is for adults, general classes are attended by students of all ages. They begin the second year with a chemistry lesson. Many students leave high school before getting their final diploma in order to find work. So those who are still here for year 2 are often students taking their second shot at education. But Ion Kutsitaru already has his sights set on the next step.
If we had a university here, I'd enroll straight away. I want everyone to understand that without education, we're nothing.
At the beginning of the 1990s, after the fall of the communist regime, 100,000 Roma children went to school in Romania. 20 years later, that figure has tripled. And despite the daily difficulties they face, more and more Roma children are enrolling in primary school. Nina and Alina bravely tackle each day's challenges. The future of the Roma community rests on the shoulders of children just like them.
Well, that's it for this edition of Planet Hope. Thank you very much for watching. More news coming up shortly. Do stay tuned to France 24.